Welcome to the App Showcase, where we review Microsoft-related apps primarily from the App Store, but also through trial versions. SV MacPack is a certified veteran-owned and HUBZone consulting firm supporting primarily the U.S. federal government. In support of our customers' need to do market research on apps such as these, we started recording our reviews of them. We hope these reviews help you as well. In this video, we'll be reviewing Saketa's organization chart, an app from the Microsoft Store. As always, I'll move fast, pointing out what I like and what would make me hesitate to recommend this app to my customers. My goal is to be as candid as I would be if I were talking to my own team about this app. Hopefully the review helps you and perhaps even provides good feedback to the publisher of this app. Let's go ahead and get started. So we're here on the Microsoft Store, and starting from the top left and working my way down, the first thing I notice is it's rated currently as a 3-star app. So there's 5 ratings there. And if we click on the reviews, we can see that they actually have 5 reviews as well. The part that is kind of a flag to me is in 2016, it looked like it was positive stuff, but then you move into 2017 and you get some negative stuff there. These are actually kind of typical of a lot of the apps in the direction Microsoft's taking the apps on the App Store. People have to understand that if they're downloading something into their environment, and it's going to have a trial period, well, it's going to have a trial period. Somehow the publishers and the software manufacturers have to protect themselves. So I don't overly look at that as a review of the app. I just look at it as a review of the process for any app that's out there. Let's go ahead and go back to the review. Coming down, the next thing I see is the version count, which is pretty important. One thing I saw right away, though, is down here they got a version history. This is the first time I've seen this on one of the apps. I'm sure others have it, but this is the first time I've seen it, and it really impresses me. It gives all of us a chance to look at what's going on. They had a search problem they identified or somebody complained about, and they fixed it. Here they got some more feedback about a dotted line hierarchy compared to just a direct report. Even here, you see them fixing stuff as Microsoft dropped a new patch. Then these guys were right behind it fixing it. So these guys are managing their apps for security and bugs, as well as listening to feedback from customers and improving it. And then look at this, updated 10/30/2017, which is long after 2016 when they originally posted it, because this somewhere in here it says they won an award for it. That's really impressive. This is what I look for my customers, is that it's a publisher who's keeping their app up to date. They're not just dumping an app in, hoping to make some money the Apple iTunes way or something. They're actually looking to sit there and put an app out there that their customers can buy and they can support. Last thing I'm looking for on the column is the support. So I'm going to open that new window and see what we get. Saketa is loading. So first off, it takes me to a support page. Okay, so it's not really a support page, but it's telling you their approach. This is good. They're saying that if there's any bugs or questions, they'll try to get back to you right away, but especially any bugs, I'm assuming they would fix pretty fast. And then you can pay for support if you wanted it. Here they're telling you how, if you wanted to improve the app for your own reasons, adding new features, that's how you could do it. But at least there's a way to reach them, and the site looks nice. Let me go ahead and close that. Coming back over here to the outline, one of the things that's pretty nice, I mean, they clearly got some marketing material in here, and that's mostly marketing material. But when you come down, you'll see here's the features, and this is a good list of features. This is the type of stuff I'm looking for. What does it have? It's customizable themes and background. You can zoom in, zoom out, print. Seems like everybody's printing, right? Employee type differentiation. I'm not quite sure what that is, but I did look at the picture, so I have a hint. And let me pop over here really quick to these pictures. So they got a little video. I watched it. It's more of a marketing pitch. But when you come in here, this is pretty awesome. These pictures I tend to ignore, but now I'm going to look at them more. Here they're describing their features, and in here they're describing the 3 different ways you could have your OrgChart look. And that's nice. I quickly understand how I would want it. Ironically, I think I'm less interested in the snapshot view of pictures because you'd have to know who everybody is. And if it's a small enough organization I know who everybody is and what they look like, then I probably don't even need the org chart. But if it's a bigger one where you get into 100 or 1,000 or 100,000 users, then clearly you want some of the data. So departmental stuff. But this is good to see what the views could be. The next picture describes the customization that you can do. And one thing that I thought that was interesting, not only are they showing that you can customize it, and we'll get in and look at that, but you can blend it into your existing themes, and that's nice, because that's what I always look for is seeing, for example, if you have an org chart in there that is tying together with the overall marketing or public relations or whoever determined the theme for the SharePoint environment. Right over here, next thing it talks about is configurable employee classifications, and that was the one I didn't understand. But here it says, actually, let me click in. Contractor, you see vendor and consultant. These are really cool. It allows you to quickly see people. Maybe instead of doing it that way, you could classify it as, I don't know, seniority or something. You know, less than 5 years, 5 to 10 years, more than 10 years, more than 20 years. I don't know, some ways of showing different information. But that's a cool little band that they have on the org chart there. The next thing it talks about here is a feature called the ability to do search and fully configure the details of the view, and I'm sure we'll get into that and see that as we see in other areas. And the last one here is just a smart features. It's telling you all the other features that it has on here. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Oh, one last thing I noticed on here. So it's telling me you got a 15-day walkthrough trial, which frankly is too short of a trial. When you're talking about an org chart and somebody's going to take the time to build it, you might as well give them 30 days. Because if they use it and you have a way of cutting them off, then they're going to come back to you if they like it. Microsoft, I mean, I heard this years and years ago, so I don't know if it's still true, but Microsoft generally isn't as interested in going after people who are doing violations sometimes of their licensing. They're happy that people are using it. And then they come in and they do the true up where they sit there and say, hey, you actually are using my app, pay up, you know, let's get going. And I think that generally, if you're going to be putting your app out on the app store as an evaluation, then you kind of want to go with that. Is that this idea that people are doing it? I am curious on whether Microsoft tells you when an app is downloaded, who downloaded it, because then theoretically you can just pursue the customer that way. Okay, let's get started looking at this. Here's the Saketa organization. I have not clicked on this one before, so we're all going to click it together and kind of see the timeline that comes into it. It takes a few minutes for the app to load. Okay, the first thing I see right away, I'm always looking for the intuitive nature of this, and let's see what we got, because it took me there and then it took me away. Now, what is this? So here's my marketing spiel from them. So this is more marketing. Here's the features. I already knew all this because I downloaded your app. Have a license, buy a license, initiate a trial. I just want to work on it. Oh, this I don't like. Because now I took the time to put it into my system, but I have to enter it in. Everybody might be different, so let me go ahead and just put mine in so you can see what the app looks like. I wonder if it sends it out. And really? There's my super private number. Tell us more. I hate this process. Hope that helps. Just so we're clear, these reviews, the whole point of these, it's designed just to be me looking at it with my team, and I'm reviewing it so maybe you can find it valuable. So you don't have to you didn't have to do this in your own environment. You can kind of watch this and decide for yourself whether you want to even download it. So I'm activating it. Now it's processing. I'm assuming it's turning it on. Congratulations. Hey, I got a bonus day for it instead of 15 days. I'm assuming the bonus day is because it's New Year's and it's giving me a freebie. Okay, so it's loading up my thing right here. It's got activate or buy the licensing. It's keeping that visible. And now I'm starting to rethink this. I'm okay with that being right in your face. If a customer is only using a trial version, then it needs to be pretty glaring to everybody that you're using a trial version and that perhaps you're violating it. So, okay, so again, I don't know what's going on with these apps, but it's messing up the sweet bar. But coming down here, I like this. This looks good. One concern I always have is I wish the apps could be more integrated with the existing environment I was on, so it doesn't look like I went somewhere else and it's confusing on how to get back. But I'll talk about that another time. So the first thing I see is this user guide. Now I want to see what we got. I'm looking down below and I notice that I got to go down to the user guide. So let me go ahead and open that in a new window. Okay, so this is the organization chart user guide. Wow, 34 pages. I give them points for volume. Let's go ahead and page down, see what we got. So here it's talking about, okay, prereqs. This part I don't like. I wish, so I don't know if you're seeing it, but right here it's saying that the SharePoint profile, whoops, sorry. Let me scroll this back in. I got a monitor that's touchscreen, so it went a little far there. But it requires a user profile, and that's cool if the user profile information is kept up to date. Active Directory is notoriously powerful yet underutilized for managing the institutional information about the people in the company and how they relate to each other. It would be great if I could actually use a SharePoint list. This thing's interesting. They added a feature for the dotted line, but it's another prereq. That does not belong down in the appendix. That belongs right here so I can see it ahead of time. So then I got features, come through the features, blah, 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 landing page, know your home page. I'm going to try to go fairly fast in here. See what we got. So this is just telling us how to color code stuff, zooming, configuration. I'm going to skip all this because I'm not trying to really review it. I like the, I'll give the user guide a thumbs up. I'm going to scroll down here. Where's my appendix though? I want to see what kind of, did I miss the appendix? I mean, I clearly did, but. Okay. I don't know. Where's the table of contents? Appendix is on page 19. Page 19. There it is. Okay, so they numbered it 7. That's what kind of threw me off a little bit. So to enable this feature of the org chart, okay, SharePoint on-prem, in order to do this, okay. Wow. Well, you know what? I'm sorry for those of you who aren't tracking. So they created this dotted line capability in here, and I was just getting thrown off about how much went into configuring it. But then I thought about it. I'm like, no, this is a pretty amazing user manual that they really are telling us how to configure it. They're telling the admins on how to help. If an organization wants a dotted line, then here's how you get it. So I like that. I'm not going to pursue that right now, but that's awesome. And the level of detail they have in the guide is really helpful. So here, okay, so how to use, I'm assuming just took me down here. So that, I would get rid of that because that just took me to this big bulk of stuff that's down here. Configuration. Okay, so now I'm clicking through on the configuration. Now it's just letting me change what colors I want to do. Here they're just saying for this particular org chart, you can just choose who's the person who's going to be default. Hey, let's show rounded corners. Sorry, folks. All I wanted was rounded corners in it. It's taking a little bit. Let me see if I can click on it and it loads faster. Give it a race on which one loads faster. Oh, they both did. Nope, that guy's still going. This guy's done. And I got rounded corners. Now, how great is that? Okay, so let's look really quick. One thing I don't like is if this is my organizational chart, then I don't need to see all this stuff because the people who are seeing the org chart are the users. It's not IT, and I don't know if I'm missing something in here. Expand and collapse, I'm assuming it's just the... Oh, this is good. It's toggling it back and forth from the... whatever they call that snapshot view to this view where you can see everything. And, you got the basic functionality over here, configuration. That's what I wanted to see. Okay, that's interesting. So I really like how this is. I don't know why they have it over here. I would just take this question mark and make it a small casual question mark right there and get rid of this entire row. In fact, this error, you can just pop it up under the title bar there and you're good to go. But I don't like this whole idea of the org chart being part of the stuff you're talking to too. Let's go ahead and see what else we got here. This is good. It's allowing you to show stuff. I want to try this again. This is somebody else doing the full screen. Let's see what happens. Okay, so that gives, oh, that's interesting. So finally, you get rid of everything and you have a nice clean thing. See this blue though? I don't know if that's me, but I thought it changed. No, okay, a minute ago I thought it was green, but it's not. What's it going to look like when I hit the out of the box focus on the content? Not even remote. Okay, this is much more handy. So this focus on the content is not going to give them a clean sight. But when they said full screen, they got rid of everything except for this big gray box you're looking at. That is the org chart. That's really nice. I like that a lot. I actually don't know why this stuff here isn't here. Is there somewhere that lets me get rid of it? This stuff here, I'm on my site, but look at this stuff. It's just too much marketing. This reminds me of the old days, but these things here absolutely should not be here. And I don't know if when you get a license that it goes away, that would be handy. There's interesting enough, there's not a whole lot more to show on this. I mean, I could go into, it's pulling out everything. Really the only configuration type you have. Oh, let's look at employee type settings over here. Employee types. Wait, employee type field. Oh, okay. So add a SharePoint profile attribute to manage. Wow. So it would be awesome if this tool could be put into a list, because to get IT or somebody to add an attribute just because you want to do an org chart, that's pretty easy maybe in a 20-person environment or a 50-person environment, but you get above 100 people or certainly 1,000 or 100,000, those kind of things just don't happen. And so that makes this org chart not that useful for everybody in the environment. I know, for example, at DHS, most people don't have any access to SharePoint to be able to do stuff, but they get site collection admin rights. It would be a lot better for them to be able to have control from the list side. I like this app. I really do. I like how clean it is. There's certain things I'd like to see, so let me just kind of mention it. This is cool. So you could exclude certain people. I don't know why, but it's a handy capability. There's some other stuff. This is the part I really like. When developers or teams are putting information here that say that guide people on what to do. So these are the fields that are showing you. Like right now, I don't know if I have my department, but I'm assuming I can get rid of that. There you go. I'm going to cancel that so it stays in there. But that kind of stuff is really handy. I like that. I like how the org chart itself looks. Like I mentioned, I wish it could be in a SharePoint list or some data source, especially SharePoint list, since it is a SharePoint org chart. And then one thing I would tell the publishers, get rid of all this stuff. I don't know why the evaluation license or trial license wouldn't make this look exactly like a production version, but I'm assuming it does. And if it does, it has all this stuff. And this really should just be under a question mark. And the question mark shouldn't necessarily go to a user guide. It should go to a set of pages that are just built like this. They've done a really good job with it. I would, if you're an organization that has a user profile in the Active Directory environment's all configured in a way that you're happy with, for example, you know who's manager, who reports to who, et cetera, then I would absolutely recommend you download this to try it out. You saw some of the things you'll have to go through. You'll definitely have to register so they know who's using the trial, and that's fine. I don't fault them for that at all. And then for the publisher, there's things I recommended that we clean up. But as a recap, I'm recommending that we give this a thumbs up and that you give it a shot if it makes sense for you. I hope you found this review useful as you evaluate various apps available to you and your organization. Please provide me with feedback in the comments. Let me know how I can make this App Showcase channel and the reviews more useful to you. Please feel free to even suggest apps that I should review, and we'll get them on the schedule. Finally, if you found this review helpful, please share it with others. I'm your host, Neil McDonnell with SV MacPack. I thank you for joining me today and hope you'll join me again for other reviews.